All right, if you're deep into grade 12 genetics, you've probably noticed something a little odd about certain traits. I mean, why do some conditions seem to almost skip the women in a family and show up mostly in the men? Well, today, we're cracking that exact code. We're going to dive into one of the most important topics for your exams, the inheritance of sex-linked characteristics.
So let's just put the question right out there. Why is it that things like red-green color blindness or the blood clotting disorder hemophilia seem to affect men way more often than women? It just can't be a coincidence, right? And you're right, it's not. It's the central puzzle of sex-linked inheritance, and by the end of this, you'll see exactly how all the pieces fit together.
So where do we even start to solve this? Well, the first clue is actually hidden inside our own DNA, specifically in our 23rd pair of chromosomes. You know them as the sex chromosomes, and it turns out they do a whole lot more than just determine our biological sex. They carry the instructions for some very specific traits.
And right here, this is where it all begins. Just look at the difference. In humans, females have two big X chromosomes. It's a perfectly matched pair. But males, they get one X and one, well, much smaller Y chromosome. It might not seem like a huge deal, but that little mismatch, that tiny Y, is the key to this entire genetic mystery. Okay, pro exam tip right here. You're going to want to learn this definition word for word. A sex-linked characteristic is, simply put, a characteristic controlled by a gene found on a sex chromosome. And for your exams, pretty much 99% of the time, we're talking about genes located on that X chromosome.
The two classic examples you'll see again and again in your exams are colorblindness and hemophilia. Now, the most important detail to lock in your brain right now is that both of these conditions are caused by a recessive allele on the X chromosome. That one little word, recessive, it changes everything. Okay, so we've got all the clues. We've got a mismatched XY pair in males, and we've got a recessive allele on the X chromosome. Now, let's put it all together and figure out exactly why this genetic setup puts males at a much higher risk. This is the logic that's going to score you big marks.
This table just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the female with her XX pairing. It's like she has a genetic backup copy. If one of her X chromosomes carries a faulty recessive allele for, say, hemophilia, the other X can have a healthy dominant allele that just takes over and masks the faulty one, so she won't have the disorder. But now, look at the male with his XY pairing. See the problem? There is no backup.
It really just comes down to physical anatomy. The Y chromosome is literally shorter than the X. It's missing the section where that corresponding gene would be. So if a male has a recessive allele on his X chromosome, there's absolutely nothing on the Y to counteract it. That recessive allele has zero competition. It's automatically expressed every single time. Just let that sink in for a second. This is the single most important fact in this whole topic. For these particular traits, a male only gets one shot, one single copy of that gene.
And that leads to this unavoidable conclusion. Since there's no second X chromosome to provide a dominant allele, if a male inherits that one recessive allele on his single X, he will have the condition. There's no other way. This is also exactly why males can't be carriers for these X-linked traits. They either have it or they don't. Simple as that. Okay, so understanding the why is half the battle won. Now for the other half, predicting the odds. In your exams, you're going to have to use this knowledge to map out the probabilities in a genetic cross using a Punnett square. So let's just work through a classic example together, step by step.
Here's a scenario you are almost guaranteed to see. We have a mother who is a carrier for hemophilia, which means she has the recessive allele but doesn't show any symptoms, and we have a father who's completely normal. So the big question is, what are the chances their children will inherit this disorder?
First things first, getting the notation right is absolutely key for full marks. We show the alleles as superscripts, like little hats on the X chromosome. We'll use a capital H for the normal, dominant allele, and a lowercase h for the recessive, hemophilia allele. Now look really closely at the Y chromosome. Notice it gets nothing. It's blank. This is a super common mistake, so please burn this into your brain. The Y chromosome is always left empty for these traits.
All right, let's set this cross up. So, step 1, the parents' genotypes. The mother is XH, X because she's a carrier. The father is XHY. Now for step 2, the gametes. During meiosis, the mother's eggs can either carry the XH or the X. The father's sperm can carry either his XH or his Y. Now we just have to plot these possibilities in our Punnett square.
And here it is, our completed square. Let's walk through it. Top left box.
A daughter gets a normal X from mom and a normal X from dad, so she's XHXH, a normal female. Bottom left, a daughter gets the recessive X from mom and a normal X from dad, making her XHXH, a carrier female, just like her mom. Top right, a son gets a normal X from mom and the Y from dad, so he's XHY, a normal male. And finally, the bottom right, a son gets the recessive X from his mom and the Y from his dad. He is XY, an affected male.
So what does this all mean for the probabilities? Well, each of these 4 outcomes has an equal 25% chance of happening. But let's look at this in terms of the actual disorder. There is a 25% chance of having a child with hemophilia, and that child has to be a male. See that? 0% of the daughters in this cross can actually have the disorder, though half of them will become carriers themselves.
Okay, that was a lot, I know. So let's boil it all down into a final exam checklist. This is what you need to make sure you're ready to tackle any question on this topic they can throw at you.
These are your non-negotiables. You have to know these. Remember, the genes are on the X, the Y chromosome is smaller, and you have to get that superscript notation right. Oh, and please don't lose an easy mark. Always state both the genetic makeup, the genotype, and the physical trait, the phenotype, in your final answers.
And just as important are the common traps to avoid. Remember, because females have 2 X's, they're the ones who can be carriers. The single biggest mistake I see students make is putting an allele on the Y chromosome. Don't do it. It's always empty. And of course, the whole point of this explainer is that males are affected more often, not females.
And I'll leave you with a final puzzle to really test if you've got this. Let's flip the whole scenario. If a daughter is born with a recessive X-linked disorder like hemophilia, what must be true about her father? Think about where she gets her 2 X chromosomes from. If you can answer that one, you have absolutely mastered the rules of sex-linked inheritance. Thanks for joining me.